on our Facebook page that we've been celebrating Asia Pacific Heritage Month. So this week, I wanted to share a story from one of my favorite authors that's Japanese American. His name is Alan Say, and he's an amazing author and illustrator. In 1994, he won the Caldecott for this book, and that's a special award for books with the best pictures for children. So this is Grandfather's Journey, and this story is based on his grandfather's life and his travels. So this is Grandfather's Journey by Alan Say. He wrote the story and he also did the illustrations. He made the pictures. Alan Say's mom was Japanese American and she was born in California, and his dad was born in Korea and he was raised in Shanghai. And they'll talk a little bit about his mom in this story. This book is published by Houghton Mifflin. My grandfather was a young man when he left his home in Japan and went to see the world. He wore European clothes for the first time and began his journey on a steamship. The Pacific Ocean astonished him. For 3 weeks, he did not see land. When land finally appeared, it was the New World. He explored North America by train and riverboat and often walked for days on end. Deserts with rocks like enormous sculptures amazed him. The endless farm fields reminded him of the ocean he had crossed. Huge cities of factories and tall buildings bewildered and yet excited him. He marveled at the towering mountains and rivers as clear as the sky. He met many people along the way. He shook hands with black men and white men, with yellow men and red men. The more he traveled, the more he longed to see new places and never thought of returning home. Of all the places he visited, he liked California best. He loved the strong sunlight there, the Sierra Mountains, the lonely seacoast. After a time, he returned to his village in Japan to marry his childhood sweetheart, and then he brought his bride to the new country. They made their home by the San Francisco Bay and had a baby girl. As his daughter grew, my grandfather began to think about his own childhood, and he thought about his old friends. He remembered the mountains and rivers of his home, and he surrounded himself with songbirds, but he could not forget. Finally, when his daughter was nearly grown, he could wait no more. He took his family and returned to his homeland. Once again, he saw the mountains and rivers of his childhood. They were just as he had remembered them. Once again, he exchanged stories and laughed with his old friends. But the village was not a place for a daughter from San Francisco. So my grandfather bought a house in a large city nearby. There, the young woman fell in love, married, and sometime later, I was born. When I was a small boy, my favorite weekend was a visit to my grandfather's house. He told me many stories about California. He raised warblers and silver eyes, but he could not forget the mountains and rivers of California, and so he planned a trip. But a war began, and bombs fell from the sky and scattered our lives like leaves in a storm. When the war ended, there was nothing left of the city and of the house where my grandparents had lived. So they returned to the village where they had been children, but my grandfather never kept another songbird. The last time I saw him, my grandfather said that he longed to see California one more time. He never did. And when I was nearly grown, I left home and went to see California for myself. After a time, I came to love the land that my grandfather had loved, and I stayed on and on until I had a daughter of my own. But I also miss the mountains and rivers of my childhood, and I miss my old friends. So I return now and then when I cannot still the longing in my heart. And the funny thing is, the moment I am in one country, I am homesick for the other. I think I know my grandfather now. I miss him very much. One of the things I love about this book is that it's a family history. What is your family history? Maybe that's something good that you guys could talk about today. I have another book that I want to share with you. This is How My Parents Learned to Eat. I wanted to share this book because it's illustrated by Alan Say. So he drew and made the pictures in this book. And it was written by Ina Friedman. I'm not going to read this story today, but I'm going to put a link underneath so that you can watch it later on. On Monday, we posted a list of great books that you might enjoy that's part of our Asian Pacific Heritage Collection. I hope that you'll take a time to look at these on Tumblebook, where you can watch it on your device, or we have books that's part of the library's collection. We're really excited to start our curbside this week, so you have the opportunity to check out books from the library. It's really easy. All you're going to need to do is go to the library's website, ffpl.org. There you can browse our catalog and look at all of the books that we have here at the library, just like you would do at home. After you've picked a few, and maybe you want to pick some from that list that we posted, you're just going to go to a very easy form that's on our website. Your parent will be able to answer just a couple of questions, and then I'll get an email that tells me what you guys want to read. You can choose to tell me exact books that you want, or you can let us know that you just want me or one of the other librarians here to pick out books for you that we think you'll enjoy. Then once I get that email, I'll pick some out for you, and we'll call your mom or dad, and they can come to the library to pick them up. It's really easy, and we're really excited that you can get books again. I miss you guys. See you next week.